And we're live on the Hoopscap. Let's get into it, boys and girls.
Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Let's get it. Yeah. UConn, baby. Home of the champions. Let's go.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back into the Hoopscap Live on the Big East Energy Network. Just finished watching UConn's fresh off that buzzer going off. UConn wins number 5 in the country. They didn't cruise, but they grinded out a tough 71 to 63 victory over the Texas Longhorns in Hartford and People's Bank Arena. Definitely not a pretty performance. I would say uneven, especially in the second half, no doubt. But December 10-1 for a team this loaded to get a tough win. It's, this wasn't a bye game. It also wasn't a quad 1 game. It wasn't something that I thought was, it definitely was not a must win, but it definitely wasn't you can't lose this game. Let's put it that way. It's kind of like an in-between game. Casey Matthews of Roll Jays and formerly of the Creighton staff has talked about how unexpectedly the Big East has all these different landmines that are, quad 2, quad 3. And admittedly, his own Creighton team is now like a quad 2 or quad 3 game. So, I think for me, this was definitely not an expected to be quad 2 game. And if you think about it, most people thought this was going to be like a top 20, top 25 matchup. That was not the case. So, you have to lock in. Texas has some good players. They're going through transition with Sean Miller, who left Xavier again. And, it's just, to me, it just felt like a really interesting performance, right? But let's put some perspective out there. Conference season is over. Get into the Big East part of the season. Apologies, the yawning podcaster is back. But listen, it's wins over Kansas on the road, Illinois neutral site, BYU neutral, Florida neutral, now Texas at home. The only loss, a home game against Arizona where Terrace and Braylon weren't even playing. I think that's a pretty good offseason, right? Pretty good non-conference. Tonight we saw the good and bad, right? Alex Karaban I thought was fantastic, pretty steady. He's been pretty steady all year, leading the team, 18 points. Great shooting performance. We also saw Terrace Reed clearly still favoring that ankle, so hopefully maybe we get some break here before that Butler game on the 21st. Not looking like, the force that we know he can be. Early, yes, but then as the game goes on, it ends up being kind of a laborious outcome for him. And that, my friends, I think when you add that all up is pretty disconcerting for other fan bases out there. If you're, say, the Michigan Wolverines, who are playing the best basketball in the country right now, but who wants to be the king in December? Not us, not UConn. So already proving essentially what they're hoping to do as they go on. This is, we haven't even gotten to the comments, and I'm about to. I will agree with only one statement here, or actually two. I don't think Silas is lost. I think that's and at M Mall, whatever the heck your name is. I apologize. I don't know how to say that, so I'm not making fun of it. I don't. You're pretty negative, just being honest, right? But that being said, I've been pretty critical of Silas. I've been very critical of Malachi to a certain extent. I think Silas is still kind of finding his way. And I don't think I'm not sugarcoating it. I've been incredibly disappointed so far with Silas. I don't think he's lost. I think he's still trying to figure out, what Dan wants from him. And I do think that the guards need to be a little bit more maybe aggressive, maybe a little more, figuring out the right reads. Although I did have a conversation with Tyler, who was on my show last time, and people got up all like, oh, you didn't let him talk. My biggest issue with Silas is if you're the guy that everyone brought in from Georgia and you can't read simple things like when a guy goes under on a screen and you're supposedly a pretty good shooter, pull the trigger. I don't know if that's what Dan wants, but I do know that that's kind of a simple like read option play. If you're a read option quarterback, you essentially, read that defensive end. If he crashes down, you give the ball. You take the ball out of the running back's belly and you take off. If he doesn't crash down, you give the ball to the running back. That's kind of what either pick and roll and kind of those horn sets are with. Obviously you want them to win no matter what. So I mean, who wouldn't sign up for ugly wins all year? And I know one guy, this guy back here, got an ugly win in a national championship game, 53-41 over Butler. That's what this ball is from. Nobody is giving this game back. Let's even get that on screen. 53-41. That's a halftime score sometimes. So, and Solo, I do think has regressed a little as a shooter, but I also think he's also trying to add more layers to his game. So by doing that, I think it's kind of made some of the things that were easy for him, just standalone threes, more difficult. I don't know. How about that crazy Talik Brown-esque, heave from like almost half court that went in? As soon as it let go, I was like, that's going in. That's just the kind of night it was. But I'm taking this with a grain of salt. I know you're incredibly negative, Maul, but it is what it is, right? So I'm going to put the link in the comments. I would love for anybody to come on and just give me your thoughts. I know sometimes people get a little nervous that I'm going to rip them an asshole, but like I really am. I feel good. I mean, I feel pretty comfortable. As long as you don't act like that guy, Joe Thibault, who came on here and went crazy and then ended up trying to like cyber stalk my wife. As long as that doesn't happen, I think we're good. So please feel free to jump on the show. Let's see. Ugly win, but we'll take it. This team has trouble finishing off their opponent. I totally agree with that, Peter. They've had trouble with that. It's why when people ask me, like, what do you think you should do with the spread? Don't bet it. I just, what was it, 11.5? Once this team gets rolling, maybe, but like, I just don't like how they end games. So if you're a betting person, the smart money's on who they're playing because they kind of allow. Also, just think about how they play. They play fast in the half court, but they don't push the ball. So it just is what it is, right? Well, yeah, Charles, I think you're right, and it's partly because they don't. Dan doesn't just say, "All right, here's the ball, let's throw it up and go play." It is it's a game that is he tries to control every aspect of it, and because of that, it leads to more turnovers early. If they were, I'm going to say something kind of wild right now. If they were playing as good as Michigan right now, I would think there was something like weird, because it would almost feel like it's not real because they've had a few games where things have clicked for a short period of time, but it won't click 100% for a while for this team, and that's why I feel like they're definitely going to lose a couple Big East games. Everyone's talking about how easy the Big East is this year. We'll see. It's every year it ends up being, even with literally the best team. I'm just saying. No, man, I didn't agree with your negative points. I don't think Silas is lost. I think that's a really bad interpretation. If you want to come on and talk about it, like I'm not gonna. We can have a nice, cordial conversation. I'm not disagreeing with the fact that the defense is much better than last year. I mean, it's miles ahead of where it was last year. But as far as what the guards and especially Silas, I just think it's so difficult to go from Georgia, where it's kind of, again, I'm going to roll the ball out and almost play pickup. It's literally, and I'm not making fun of any other team's offense, but the difference with Dan Hurley and Luke Murray's offense versus, say, Georgia, which is a bottom tier SEC team, is like, it's like driving and then trying to be an astronaut and land on the moon. That's the difference. He's definitely not lost. He looked good at times, in particular at the beginning of the game. Then he got, a little bit of foul trouble. But he's also being asked to do like probably 7 more different things than, say, someone like Malachi. Malachi's brought in the game most of the time because they want him to change the pace up and bother, almost like a third down back. There's more responsibility with Silas, and that's why I don't think he looks lost. I think he looks conservative. That would be the way I would use it. I don't like the way this. That's better. I want to be right in the center. Yeah, I don't think he's lost. Thank you. Defense is solid when they lock in. No one wants to comment on anything. That's okay. You guys don't have to come on the show. Anyone else have any other questions? Or else it's going to be a really short show because I have my parents are in town. I got kids sleeping right now. Hopefully they stay sleeping. But I don't know what's going on because I have the earbuds on. But we'll see. If anyone wants to come on, thank you, Sydney. I do feel like, again, and then Mike, on a 10-1 with our non-con, with most of the time without Reed and Braylon, for 75% or more of the games, I'm perfectly fine with it. And you're right. I think it's a good thing. This is, yes, Sydney, that's a great point. I don't know. I you know what I think I want to do? I think I may actually try to get an actual official on my show and talk about like what does UConn do that has them with the reputation that they foul too much. That would be my biggest concern. Is I don't want them to get into a big game in March, the East tournament, NCAA tournament, where they're playing for a championship. It just is what it is. My guy, it's on both. It's on. There's two different streams, so the full screen definitely is on. So I apologize. Go find it. I'm here. Ooh, let's see. Let's see. Free throw shit blows my mind. Let me tell you something. What bothers me about free throw shooting is it's literally the easiest thing in all of basketball. It just is. It's repetition. And my biggest issue with guys who are supposedly great shooters, it's just locking in mentally. I know this means nothing to anyone here, but my dad downstairs right now played high school basketball, probably could have played college, was a really good shooter. And if we went outside right now, if it was nice out, he's 75 years old, and I gave him 100 free throws, he'd make 95 with them, and didn't with like zero warm up. It's just about locking in mentally, and so free throws have always been a big thing with me, and it just blows my mind as well. Who are we talking about? Who got more minutes than Jay Ross? How do they get more minutes for Ross? You talking about Jay Ross? Like, I think he plays well, but I also think he's a prisoner of he doesn't do enough to be a threat outside of what he does well for them, which is play defense and be a change of pace. Who are you taking out? David, I'd be curious. Like, who are you taking out for more minutes for Jay Ross? What else? Salas will be fine. His confidence will continue to grow as he gets accustomed. Yeah, that 1,000%. Couldn't have said any better myself. Absolutely, Ross's defense is great, but he has a tendency to foul a little bit too much, like everybody on this team. But I do think that it's hard to play Jay Ross over any of the guys who stretch the floor. And I know Jay Ross has made threes this year, but is he a better shooter than Solo? Is he a better shooter than Braylon? I don't think the good outweighs the bad in that respect. Yeah, I agree. I think Charles said something in the chat about how I do think that there's a part of referees that have it out for Hurley. But I don't know. It's just one of those things where I wish they would I wish they would be a little more consistent. That's my only thing. And but yeah, taking a quick look at the stats. Karaban had 18, Terrace had 12. Jalen Stewart led us in rebounds today. I think my buddy Little Red said it best. I think he's a pro. I mean, 10.7 rebounds, whether he starts or not, that's a great response. He loses his starting job to Braylon, who comes out in like a firecracker. And what does Jay Stu do? He still gets 10-7. I think it's great. I'm really proud of him. What else? Can Karaban get a blow every once in a while? Provides energy. Yeah, I mean, I think as the year goes on, and as guys get more accustomed to things, I think he will. I won't argue that Iowa State and Houston are better defensively, but than us. Yeah, I agree, and that's a comment I've made on different shows that, like, you know, if you're watching UConn play and you're trying to tell me that they foul more than, say, Houston, I think you're insane. But anyway, listen, guys, it's 10:45. I'm going to cut it short tonight. I'm tired. It's the off season. We're getting close to Christmas time. I hope everyone has a wonderful Christmas. I am going to throw this banner up for my presenting sponsor, Law Offices of James E. Sulik. If you need anything, call him at 860-644-4700. I will also tell you guys, if anybody is interested in checking out, again, BigEastEnergy.com has a bunch of really cool stuff. This hat is on there. A lot of Mullins Mania stuff is on there. I think is fantastic. You know, we've done a bunch of really cool stuff that you all should check out, because listen, I'm not making money off of this. This hat right here, this cool, that's my dog, actually. That husky right there, that's my dog Ludo. So I took a caricature of him and I put it on a UConn hat with a Connecticut background. But we have some really cool hats. I put up an Alex Karaban hat earlier tonight. Every Connecticut-based item on BigEastEnergy.com goes directly to the Connecticut Boys and Girls Club. It is an alliance of Connecticut Boys and Girls Club. So if you grow up in Connecticut like I did, hopefully my hometown gets some of this money in Meriden, but it could go anywhere: Bridgeport, Hartford, New Haven, wherever. So if you grew up in the Boys and Girls Club like I did, this is what we do, and I'm happy to do it. So keep buying stuff. And like I said, nothing goes to me. A sponsorship wise, 25% goes to them. But anything you buy merch wise goes directly to the clubs. So great win tonight for the Huskies. I'm going to call it an evening tonight. Merry Christmas to everybody. I'm sure I'll see you guys next time. I think the Butler game's next. Maybe we'll do a crossover with Rose, who does our Butler show. And the Big East Energy Network starts in earnest with Big East Conference play very, very soon. We appreciate you guys. I appreciate everybody that jumped on. Over 300 people. And we keep the ball rolling on Big East Energy and the Hoops Cap. See you next time.
Let's get it.